Hello to all the friends. Thank you for joining us. Inshallah, we will continue our journey on Ilm wa Amal, knowledge and practice, part 9. We were talking about Jamaat Khana and we will continue on the subject. Today we have a list of the things. Let's see how much we can cover. आज हमारे पास एक लंबी लिस्ट है. देखते हैं कि क्या हम कवर कर सकते हैं और क्या नहीं. मौला के मुबारक नाम से इसका आगाज करते हैं. नूर मौलाना शाह करीमुल हुसैनी हाजिर इमाम. या मौलाए मेहरबान मदद फरमा. या मौलाए मेहरबान मदद फरमा. या मौलाए मेहरबान मदद फरमा. मदद फरमा. अल्लाहुल कय्यूम अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा. या रहमान या रहीम. 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 या मौला तौफीक ताहीद हिम्मत व यारी मौला. तौफीक ताहीद हिम्मत व यारी मौला. या मौलाए मेहरबान मदद मौला. या मौला अपने नूर से हम गरीबों की हिदायत फरमा मौला. या मौलाए मेहरबान अपने नूर की रोशनी में हमें सिरातुल मुस्तकीम पर आगे बढ़ा मौला. या मौलाए मेहरबान अपना मुबारक दस्त हम गरीबों पर रख मौला कि तेरी शफकत के साये में मौला, तेरे खानावदान के साये में मौला, तेरी रहमत के साये में मौला, तेरे प्यार के साये में मौला, तेरे नूर की रोशनी के साये में मौला हम कुछ काम कर सके मौला. या मौला तू जानता है हमारे लिए कितना मुश्किल है मौला. तेरी हिदायत ना हो मौला, तेरी रहमत ना हो मौला तो हम कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते हैं मौला. या मौला मेहरबान मदद मौला मदद. तमाम साथियों को एक बार फिर या अली मदद. जमात खाना, ट्रेडिशंस एंड राइट्स एंड रिचुअल. क्या ट्रेडिशन है और क्या उसमें हमारे राइट्स एंड रिचुअल्स हैं. कभी कभार हम हमारी ट्रेडिशंस को हमारे राइट्स और रिचुअल समझने लगते हैं और कभी कभार हमारे राइट्स और रिचुअल को हम हमारी ट्रेडिशन समझने लगते हैं. क्या फर्क है ट्रेडिशंस में और राइट्स और रिचुअल्स में? ये हमारे लिए जरूरी है कि पहले हम देखें और समझें ताकि हम उस पर इल्म के साथ, लॉजिक के साथ, इंटेलेक्ट के साथ अमल कर सकें. What are our rights and rituals and what are our traditions? Sometimes we take our traditions as our rights and rituals, and sometimes we see our rights and rituals as our tradition. It would be nice if we would know what are traditions and what are actual our rights and rituals. For example, celebrations, Imamat Day, Khushali birthday, Navroz. Those are not our rites and rituals. Those are our traditions. For example, in the previous Imam time, Salgira Mubarak would be celebrated on November 2nd. Imamat Day will be celebrated on 17th August. But then traditions are meant to be changed according to the time and according to the Imam's farman. Another, Navroz. Even though Navroz is an old tradition, but it is a tradition that Imam had given us, and behind each one of those traditions are lessons to be learned, things to be understood. In our Majalis subject, few weeks from today, we will cover all three of these Salgira Mubaraks, our celebrations. But here in a short, for example, Imam's birthday. What is the lesson to be learned? That Imam is always living and present and always have a male progeny in his children. Always. And therefore, Imam's birthday is celebrated because he was born in this physical world for us to follow. Short. Remember, in detail, we will cover in our Majalis, where we will cover three of those celebrations. Imamat Day. The promise of Allah that He will not let the Noor-e Imamat to be blown away. Matter of fact, He will protect the Noor and the Noor-e Imamat. And celebration of Imamat Day tells us that it is the present Imam, the current Imam, the one we celebrate. Navroz, a celebration of a new year, a new day, not a physical day on 21st March, that is just a symbol, but a new day when a moment goes through a new day, the day of Navroz in his batin, when a spring comes into Momin's heart due to the Noor and the sun of the Noor dawn on him. That is the day of Navroz for Momin, and that can be any day of the year. As a symbol of that, we celebrate Navroz on 21st March. It has nothing to do with 21st of March, because we can see in the southern hemisphere 21st of March is the beginning of winter, not spring. So those three celebrations as a symbol for us to learn from, Fortunately, fortunately, we have a living Imam and he guides us and he teaches us. Unfortunately, sometimes we are so busy celebrating, we don't even pay attention to the ilm, the symbols in those celebrations. Those days are there as a symbol for us to focus, learn, and understand. Inshallah, with this ilm, our amal will get better. आपने देखा कि ये तीन खुशहाली जो है वो हमारे राइट्स और रिचुअल का हिस्सा नहीं है, वो हमारी ट्रेडिशन का हिस्सा है, क्योंकि ये हर जमाने के अंदर बदलते रहते हैं। जिस तरह के मौला की सालगिरह पिछले इमाम के जमाने में हम दिसंबर में नहीं, नवंबर में बनाते थे। इमामत डे जुलाई में नहीं, अगस्त में बनाते थे। और नवरोज हालांकि बहुत पुरानी सेलिब्रेशन है, लेकिन उसके अंदर जो इंफिसाज आया खोजा जमात के अंदर, वो बहुत बाद में आया और उसकी समझ ये नहीं है कि बाहर का महीना आ गया है, बल्कि ये समझ है कि मोमिन के दिल पर नूर का सूरज उगा है, जागा है, आया है, चमका है। इसकी वजह से नवरोज का दिन उस मोमिन के लिए होगा, फिर चाहे वो कोई भी दिन हो, कोई भी महीना हो। लेकिन उसकी समझ के लिए एक निशानी के तौर पर हमारे पास नवरोज का सेलिब्रेशन है। क्योंकि अगर हम नवरोज कहें कि ये दुनिया के बहार का दिन है, तो हमारे लिए मसला पैदा होगा, क्योंकि जो नीचे का मकाम है यानी कि साउथ ऑफ द ग्लोब है, वहां पर वो सर्दी का मौसम का आगाज होता है, ना कि बाहर का महीना। तो कैसा मुमकिन होगा कि हम किसी को बोले कि नवरोज का महीना 21 नवरोज का दिन 21 मार्च है और ये बाहर का दिन है। ये जाहिरी बार का दिन नहीं, मोमिन के दिल पर बातिनी नूर के चमकने का दिन है, जिसको एक मिसाल के तौर पर नवरोज के तौर पर पेश किया गया। इमामत का दिन जो है, इमामत डे, वो इसलिए सेलिब्रेट करते हैं ताकि हमें याद रहे कि खुदा का नूर कभी भी दुनिया से बुझने वाला नहीं, और इमामत एक के बाद एक हमेशा रहेंगी। और बर्थडे का दिन जो होता है, सालगिरह होती है, कि जब भी इस दुनिया में इमाम का जन्म होता है, वो मोमिनों के लिए खुशी का दिन होता है। इंशाल्लाह ये तीनों के बारे में हम हमारी मजालिस के जो लेक्चर्स होंगे उसके अंदर हम इसको डिटेल के अंदर कवर करेंगे। लेकिन ये पार्ट ऑफ द ट्रेडिशन है, ना कि पार्ट ऑफ राइट्स एंड रिचुअल है। एक और जो नांदी है हमारी, मेहमानी है, अव्वल सुफरो है, that is not part of rites and ritual but part of tradition, part of tradition. The Nandi tradition started back with Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Prophet Muhammad and Mustafa. At the time of the beginning of the Islam, when Prophet Muhammad along with his companion would sit in the Khana Kaaba or Masjid, the Mu'mineen, the followers, they will bring something for him to eat, as he would sit there from the morning till late night to preach, for the teaching, and for the ibadat. The followers will bring things for him to eat. It started with one family bringing something for him to eat, just one single dish. But as others saw, why would I not take something for my beloved prophet? And more dishes were offered to him. Next thing you know, there would be just too much for him to eat or take home. So he ordered that food to be distributed amongst the poor, and those who were Saibe Hasiyat, those who could afford, would buy that for the poor, for the beggars, for the needies, for the travelers, for the slaves. That was the tradition. And that money which was collected would be used for the spreading of the Islam and for buying things for the war. Nandi is an old tradition in Islam. But with our Imams, the Nandi tradition has changed a little bit, because it's no longer random people bringing food for the Imam, because Imam is not physically present in the Jamaat Khana, but understanding, offering the love is still the same. Nandi is saying that, Ya Mola, whatever little bit I am cooking for my family, I would like you to be part of this food. And we take little bit of that food and offer to the Imam-e-Zaman. I love this tradition where it says the Nandi is free, and money is dharam. थोड़ा यहाँ पर उर्दू में बताता चलो कि नांदी की जो ट्रेडिशन है, परंपरा है, वो नई नहीं है, बहुत पुरानी है, बल्कि हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के जमाने से है कि जब लोग उनके लिए खाना ले आते थे, जब वो सुबह से शाम तक मस्जिदों में और खाना काबा में लोगों के दरमियान में बैठकर टीच करते थे, प्रीच करते थे और इबादत सिखाया करते थे। पहले एक फैमिली ले आती थी, फिर दो फैमिली लाने लगी, करते करते बहुत सारे लोग लाने लगे। हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया कि आप इसको गरीबों में, फकीरों में, सफर करने वालों में और गुलामों में बांट दें। कौन बांटेगा इसको? वो लोग जो साहिब हैसियत हो गए, वो उसके बदले में आना दुआना डोनेशन में डाले और वो लेकर अपनी तरफ से सवाब के तौर पर उसको गरीबों में बांटते हैं। और ये ट्रेडिशन हजारों साल तक हमारी जमात के अंदर चली आई, लेकिन आस्ते 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 इल्म ना होने की वजह से हम उसको भूल गए और हम नांदी इसलिए लेने लगे कि आज मुझे खाना नहीं बनाना है, या आज मैंने जो खाना बनाया है वो अच्छा नहीं है और किसी ने बिरयानी बनाई है तो मुझे वो लेकर अपनी फैमिली के लिए घर पे ले जाऊंगा मैं। इसमें कोई खराबी नहीं है, लेकिन ट्रेडिशन ये नहीं थी। ट्रेडिशन क्या थी? मैं सिर्फ ट्रेडिशन की बात कर रहा हूं यहां पर, गलत और सही की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं। इस बात को याद रखना कि मैं यहां पर गलत और सही की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, सिर्फ परंपरा की बात कर रहा हूं। इल्म के अंदर हमको सब चीजें वाजे तौर पर सीखनी और समझनी होती है। और वो क्या थी ट्रेडिशन? कि जो भी साहिब हैसियत होगा वो नांदी लेकर उन लोगों में बांट देगा जो गरीब होंगे, जरूरतमंद होंगे, सफर में होंगे या गुलाम होंगे। ये ट्रेडिशन थी। अब आप पूछेंगे भाई आज तो कोई गरीब नहीं है मेरे करीब करीब, क्योंकि हम ऐसे ममालिक में रहते हैं जहां पर गरीब आदमी को ढूंढना ही मुश्किल है, जरूरतमंद आदमी को ढूंढना ही मुश्किल है, गुलाम तो है ही नहीं। तो फिर हम किसको खाना खिलाएंगे? ये तो जमाने के हिसाब से ये ट्रेडिशन के अंदर तब्दीली आ गई, और ट्रेडिशन के अंदर तब्दीली आनी ही चाहिए, क्योंकि ये ट्रेडिशन है, ये पार्ट्स ऑफ राइट्स एंड रिचुअल नहीं है। सो यू सी, traditions are meant to be changed with the time and space, according to the places that we live in, according to the time and the environment and the culture and the communities that we are living in. If we are still living in those communities, and I still see that when this Nachis and Garib travel to Pakistan, I still see lot of Jamaati member who can afford to take the Nandi. They will buy the Nandi and they will give to those Garib Ismailis, needy Ismailis, traveling Ismailis around the Jamaat Khana. They still do that because Nandi was never meant to be they take it home and eat. But there is nothing wrong with that. I'm not here to discuss what is right and what is wrong. I'm just talking about the tradition. So that needs to be well understood. What is the tradition? And that was the tradition. Today, in the countries where we live, it would be hard for us to find the needy, poor, beggar, traveler to share this Nandi with others. But if you want to learn about the tradition, that was the tradition. And there is nothing wrong for you to take the Nandi home and share with your family. There is nothing wrong with it. I love this saying that Nandi is free and money is the sawab. Meaning money is your qurbani. Don't equate your money for the return of the Nandi. Don't think like that. Because you don't have enough money. You do not have enough money to buy the food which was offered to the Imam Zaman. Doesn't matter how rich you are, you do not have enough money to buy the food which was offered with the love and devotion of a Mu'min to the Imam. Nandi is free, the money is sawab. Memani. What is the difference between Nandi and Memani? Amazing part is, if you pay attention to this, the Nandi you take and it is yours to take home. But in memani, you take the sawab, and in return, you don't get any physical thing. You do not get the fruit or the milk. What you are saying that I would like to offer a memani offering to the Imam Zaman without asking anything in return. Do you understand that part? मेमानी और नादी में क्या फर्क है? जब हम नादी बताते हैं तो उसके बदले में हमको कुछ मिलता है, जबकि हम मेहमानी ये कहते हुए, ये नियत करते हुए बताते हैं कि मुझे वापसी में कुछ नहीं चाहिए, मैं अपने इमाम को एक मेहमानी पेश करना चाहता हूं, ऑफरिंग जिसको इंग्लिश में कहते हैं, कुर्बानी जिसको कहते हैं, मैं पेश करना चाहता हूं, उसके बदले में मुझे सिर्फ दुआ चाहिए और कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए. In the return of memani, I only receive prayers and sawab and nothing else. Now, what is the difference between memani and awal sufro? Now, again, ready to be amazed. मेहमानी में जब हम मेहमानी बताते हैं तो मुखी साहब हमारे लिए दुआ करते हैं, लेकिन जब हम अव्वल सुफरो बताते हैं तो आप ये कहते हैं कि मैं पूरी जमात की तरफ से, पूरी हाजिर जमात की तरफ से, पूरी रूहानी की तरफ से इमाम के हुजूर में वो मेहमानी पेश करना चाहता हूं जो मौला सबसे पहले कबूल फरमाएंगे, और उसके बदले में मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए, सारी दुआ जमात को जाए और सारा सवाब रूहानी को जाए. हमने कभी कभार देखा है, एंड देयर इज अ बिग बिग मिस्टेक, कि जब कोई मेहमानी अव्वल सुफरो बताता है तो दूसरे लोग उसकी गिला गिबत करते हैं और उसको दिखावा कहते हैं, कहते हैं कि यह आदमी दिखावा कर रहा है. खुदा के वास्ते से ऐसा दिल में ना लाए, आप बहुत बड़ा गुनाह करते हैं, बहुत बड़ा गुनाह करते हैं आप. देखें, फर्क देखें. And I will come back in English because this is a very important point I'm trying to make. जब कोई अव्वल सुफरा बताता है, कभी कभार हजारों और लाखों रुपयों में, उसके बदले में वो कुछ भी नहीं चाहता है और वो कहता है कि इसका सवाब कुल हाजिर जमात और रूहानी को जाए, मुझे इसके बदले में कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए. और वो अपनी जेब से हजारों लाखों रुपया जमात के सवाब के लिए, रूहानी के सवाब के लिए देता है. आप उसके दिल और उसकी नीयत को ना परखें. आप इमाम नहीं है, आप खुदा नहीं है कि आप उसके दिल को और उसकी नीयत को परखते हैं. अगर आप उसको परखते हैं, उसमें बहुत बड़ा गुनाह है, बहुत बड़ा गुनाह है. आप क्या कहते हैं पता है? मैं इमाम हूं, मैं सब जानता हूं कि ये आदमी दिखावा कर रहा है, मैं खुदा हूं, मैं इसका हिसाब करने वाला हूं, ये आदमी दिखावा कर रहा है. बहुत बड़ा गुनाह करते हैं आप. खुदारा ऐसा ना करें, कभी भी ना करें. मैं आपको दूसरा चैलेंज करना चाहता हूं. अगर आपको अच्छा नहीं लगता है कि ये आदमी अव्वल सुफरा बताता है, जाएं अपनी बैंक में, लेके आए हजारों लाखों रुपया और आप खुद ही बता लें। है आपका दिल, है आपका दिल तो करें। अगर नहीं कर सकते हैं तो मेरी एक बात को सुन लें। अगर आप नहीं कर सकते हैं ना, तो मेरी एक बात को सुन लें। जब हम किसी को अव्वल सुफरा बताते हुए देखें, आप खुश हो जाएं, आप उसके हक में दुआ करें कि मौला देख ये तेरा बंदा, मौला ये देख तेरा मोमिन, देख मौला ये तेरा रूहानी बच्चा कितना दिल वाला है कि उसने मेरे लिए तेरे हुजूर में अव्वल सुफरा पेश किया है। मैं नहीं कर सकता था, उसने मेरे लिए कर दिया। आप उसके लिए दुआ मांगे। देखा आपने, ये है इल्म और ये है अमल। इल्म के बिगर अमल बहुत खतरनाक हो सकता है और बहुत गुनाहों का बाइस बन सकता है। Let me explain this in English, what I just said. Very, very important. Please pay attention. When someone takes awal sufra compared to the memani, in memani, he receives the dua. In awal sufra, he is asking that entire Jamaat will receive the sawab of this awal sufra. What is awal sufra? The very first memani presented to the Imam of the time. And I offer my Qurbani for the sake of the Jamaat. All the sawab would be divided amongst the present Jamaat and the Ruwanis. And in return, I don't want anything. He offers on your behalf Awal Sofra in the Huzur of the Imam Zaman. There is a one huge mistake Jamaat makes, and because of that one great dire mistake, Jamaat becomes sinful. You know what that is? They become jealous of that person who's taking Awal Sufra. They become jealous by saying he's showing off. They become talkative, gossiping, involve themselves in slander of that moment. Great sin. Great sin. If you don't like him to do that, why don't you go to the bank and bring hundreds and thousands of dollars, hazaro, lakho, rupiah, and do it for yourself? If you cannot do that, if you cannot do that, then listen to me carefully. When this person takes Awal Sufro, you make sure you pray for him by saying, Ya Mullah, I was not able to offer you Awal Sufro, but this my brother, your great Momin, has taken and offered Awal Sufro on the behalf of the Jamaat, behalf of me. He has done something which I was not able to do. So Ya Mullah, please bless him with your best Khanavadan, with your best loving blessings. One thing you do not want to do is judge him. You know why you cannot judge him? You are not God. And you do not claim to be Imam. You don't know what his heart is, what his niyat is. So don't judge him. Don't claim to be Allah. You are not Allah. You cannot judge him. You are not Imam. You don't know what's in his heart. So don't do that. Don't do that. Because instead of you receiving great sawab, you have just not only blocked the blessing of the Imam, but you took home lot and lot and lot of sin because you become jealous of him. You got yourself involved in the gossip and slander. Do not, please, humbly request, do not do that. Do not do that. So that was few of our tradition. There are a lot of other tradition. Those are the examples of the tradition in our Jamaat. And there can be others. For example, Dandiyaras. For example, food offering for the Jamaat. And there are a lot of other traditions in our Jamaat, but those are the main traditions for us to learn. Let's take rites and ritual, and only we will talk about today Dua Karani. We started with that last week on Dua Karani. Why do we say Tobo Tobo? When do we say the prayers asking? When do we do the niyat? We talked about that last week, and you remember that. Not when you get to Mukhi Sahib while you are standing in the line. That is the time for asking for all of your niyat. Forgive my sin, forgive the sin of my family, friends, my Jamaat, Rouhani, etc., etc., etc. My Mushkil Asan, my family Mushkil Asan, etc., etc., etc. My Rouhani, Guna Bakshanvi, etc., etc., etc. When do you ask for all that? When you are standing in the line, not when you get to Mukhi Sahib. Because if you standing in front of Mukhi Sahib and saying all of this long, long, long duas, you know what you're doing, right? You are holding up a line and there are people standing behind you. That shows that you are not showing your humility, your humbleness. Your humility and humbleness is to care for your brother and sister, your Jamaat behind you. Be mindful of that. That comes part of our mindfulness, our caring, our feeling for our brothers and sisters who are behind you. So anything and everything you like to do, and you should do it. I'm not saying don't do it. Do it. Do it even more than you are doing it today, as much as you want. But do it in your own time while you are in the line. The line, that is not the time of talking, gossiping, but in the line, you start to have your niyat, your conversation with the Imam, remembering the sin, asking for forgiveness, and when you get to the Mukhi Sahib, finally you utter your word. Tobo Tobo, Tasdidar, Bando, Sarsa Pagunegar, Yasha, Tu Bakshe, Bakshanhar. And that will not take too long. And Mukhi Sahib will give you the great one single dua that encompasses all of the dua. Mola, your नेक उम्मीद पूरी करे. Mola, accept all your well wishes. In that one dua are all of the dua for your asking for forgiveness, for your mushkil asan, for ruhani forgiveness of sin, and anything and everything that you had niyat of, wish of, asking for forgiveness, asking for mushkil asan, asking for others' sin, others' mushkil asan. All of that combined is taken with one single word, one single prayer. Mola, your नेक उम्मीदें पूरी करे. In that one prayer, all the prayers are encompassed. Then Mukhi Sahib may give you some other duas. Even if he does not give you any other dua after that one single dua, believe me, all your niyat has been accepted. How do we know that? Because Imam is listening to you. Imam is present in Jamaat Khana. Imam was listening to your niyat in your heart. Imam was listening and accepting while you were standing in the line and talking to the Mola Bapa, not the gentleman standing in back, not the gentleman standing in front of you. If you were talking to Mola Bapa was listening. If you were talking and gossiping amongst yourself in the line, remember Mola was watching you too. Be careful. You are in Jamaat Khana for the purpose of receiving good deeds, sawab. You are not coming to Jamaat Khana to collect the sin. Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah Salawatullah Alaihi, in one of his Faramin says, there are three kind of mu'minins that comes to Jamaat Khana. One who comes to Jamaat Khana empty-handed and leaves empty-handed. Second, who comes to Jamaat Khana empty-handed but takes lot of sin with him. Third kind, who comes to Jamaat Khana empty-handed and takes lot and lot of sawab with him. Which one you would like to be? Free will is yours. Which one would you like to be? थोड़ा उर्दू में यहाँ पर समझाता चलो. दुआ करानी के अंदर जो हमने पिछले हफ्ते डिस्कशन किया वो आपको याद है. दुआ की नियत और जो भी आपकी नियत है गुनाह की बख्शावनी के बारे में, मुश्किल आसान के बारे में और रूहानी के गुनाह बख्शावनी के बारे में, उसकी नियत आपको पहले से करनी है. जब आप लाइन में खड़े होगे तब सोचेंगे कि मेरे क्या गुनाह है जो जाहिर में और बातिन में समझकर और अनजाने में मैंने कर दिए हैं, उसके लिए मुझे माफी दरकार है. आप इमाम से बातें करना शुरू कर दें. लाइन के अंदर इमाम से बातें करना लगे. जो आपके आगे पीछे लोग खड़े हैं ना, उसके साथ बातें ना करें आप. उसके साथ गिला गिबत ना करें आप. लाइन में जब आप खड़े हैं तो मौला जमात खाने में हाजिर और मौजूद है. आपकी बात सुन रहा है, आपकी नीयत को पढ़ रहा है, आपकी दुआओं को कबूल कर रहा है. जब आप दुआ मांगते हैं लाइन में खड़े होते हुए, अगर आप लाइन में खड़े हुए मजाक कर रहे हैं, गिला गिबत कर रहे हैं, तो वो भी मौला देख रहा है. याद रखना, मौला जमात खाने में हाजिर और मौजूद है। अगर आप लाइन में खड़े रह के मजाक मस्ती कर रहे हैं, गिला की बात कर रहे हैं, वो भी मौला देख रहा है और सुन रहा है। अगर उसकी जगह पर आप लाइन में खड़े रहकर अपने गुनाहों को याद करते हुए माफी मांग रहे हैं, अपनी मुश्किल आसान की दुआ कर रहे हैं और रूहानी के लिए उनके गुनाहों की माफी मांग रहे हैं, तो ये भी मौला सुन भी रहा है, देख भी रहा है और कबूल भी कर रहा है, क्योंकि मौला आपकी नीयत को, आपके दिल को और आपकी दुआओं को सुन रहा है। इमाम आका सुल्तान मोहम्मद शाह हमारी जान उससे फिदा वो अपने एक फरमान में फरमाते हैं कि जमात खाने 3 किस्म के लोग आते हैं। एक वो जो खाली हाथ आते हैं और खाली हाथ लौट जाते हैं, क्योंकि उनके पास इल्म नहीं है, समझ नहीं है। दूसरे लोग जो खाली हाथ आते हैं, वो गुनाहों की पोटली भर के ले जाते हैं। और तीसरे वो हैं जो जमात खाने खाली हाथ आते हैं, लेकिन सवाब को अपने दामन में लिपट कर ले जाते हैं। आपको क्या होना है वो आप सोच लें। ना तो मैं बोल सकता हूं, ना कोई आपको बोल सकता है, क्योंकि हम आपके जज नहीं है, हम आपके परखने वाले नहीं है। आपको कौन सा मोमिन बनना है इस 3 में से, उसका फैसला आप खुद ही कर लें कि आपको क्या बनना है, और वो आप करें। तो ये हमारा राइट्स एंड रिचुअल का नंबर 1 नुक्ता था, दुआ करारवी। इंशाल्लाह अगले हफ्ते हम तस्बीह, नियाज, आब शफा के बारे में और डिटेल से सीखेंगे और समझेंगे। तो यहाँ पर नाचीज अपने आप को रोकता है। बहुत नवाजिश कि आप हमारे दरमियान में आए और नाचीज को मौका दिया कुछ बोलने के लिए और कुछ समझने के लिए। बहुत नवाजिश। जी, अगर कोई सवाल है, कोई कमेंट्स है, कुछ पूछना है, तो आप जरूर पूछ लें। जी। Any comments, any question? Ferial, are you there? Or Kamara Sahib, who's taking care of these questions? Look like all my friends, my helpers are not present. Let me help myself. Please raise your hand or unmute your phone and ask question as you like. जी, पहला सवाल ये है कि खादा खोराकी क्या है? Just like memani, just like awal sufro, a family is given a chance to present a lunch, a dinner, a personal offering to the Imam of the time. The tradition goes that when Imam is Zaman in the old days, in our tradition, they will go to homes of each family of the Jamaat. But that was possible when Jamaat would live in a small town where there would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 families in a small town. And Imam will go in their homes and they will offer khada koraki. In other meaning, it could be a cooked food, shapik, meaning bread and the sugar on top, or bread and ghee on top, or some dry fruit, or some fresh fruit to the Imam e Zaman. That was called Khada Koraki. But because that time is no longer exist. We are in millions now. Imam does not go home to home, one-on-one visit. So a family is given, or Mukhi Kamliya Sahib are given. My friends, please mute your devices. So family are given opportunity to offer Imam Khada Khoraki, which becomes the Memani or Awal Sufro in the other examples. G.
Gee, sorry, sir. It was just a computer glitch to my side. So I'm here. Friends, please post your questions or raise your hand. Sir, I have another question here. Please explain significance of Shahjodidar. Have we lost this tradition?
We will cover this in our dua session. If you have any related question to our tradition and rites and ritual, please ask. In a short, Shahjodidar meaning, and we will talk about the loss of the tradition today, and meaning of the Shahjodidar in our dua session. Remember, tradition can be changed, altered, or completely eliminated because there is just a tradition. But Shahjodidar, along with the tradition of action, is also part of our rites and ritual. So what did we lose? The tradition, not rites and ritual. We are keeping the core understanding of Shahjodidar. What we are letting go due to the circumstances, the tradition of shaking hand. I will explain in detail, I promise, in our dua session. G.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, sir, it means that the niyat is still there. What we are thinking in our heart, Mola sees the heart. It's still there. It's just the using the hand. The formal thing is we are not doing at this point. So, thank you. So the next question is in Nandi after first Memani, Jamaat keeps doing Memani many times. The youth often ask, should there be a less time consuming method as they think this wastes their time? Sorry for the difficult question.
It's not a difficult question. Matter of fact, it's a very easy question. Those youth who think this is a waste of time, remember they have a free will. No one is asking them to stay for Nandi. So that kind of thinking is not correct. Because I don't remember Mukhi Sahib ever coming to me or Mukhi Sahib ever will come to you requiring you to stay for Nandi. If you think that's waste of your time, you have a free will to take off. So that is not waste of time. You cannot play with the Jamaat niyat. If Jamaat niyat is to do Memani one time, 10 times, who are we? Who are we to judge them or put a limit on the Memani? We should not do that. That is not nice. That is not kindness. That does not show your grace toward your brother and sister in Jamaat. So that is not a good thing to even think about. So be graceful, be generous, be humble, and let the Jamaat have what they want, whatever makes them feel good, let them have it. In return, they will give you the same courtesy, inshallah. G.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the next question is what's the difference between Nandi and Khada Khoraki?
I think, didn't we just cover that? Maybe I'm getting old and I forgot. I thought I
Yes,
just covered
yes.
that.
Yes, we just covered the essence of it.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Remember, I'm getting old. Sometime I do forget. If I did not cover, please tell me and I will cover it again.
No, sir, we did cover. Thank you.
Sure.
I'm just reading next, so it just, came whatever was the next. Okay.
Ji.
The next question is when do you go to Dua Karavi if the murid sitting behind part is not looking at you but around? Is your Dua Karavi accepted? I find a bit dissatisfied. I am to assume my niyat is accepted.
I think this question was asked last week also, but it's a good question. If you were listening to me about 10 or 12 minutes ago, only 10 or 12 minutes ago, this conversation, your niyat is between you and the Imam who's presented in the Jamaat Khana. And Imam was not looking here and there. He was looking right at you. Are you expecting something from the person sitting behind the part, or your expectation are from the Imam? What is your expectation? Are you dissatisfied because your expectation is the Mukhi, Kamriya, and that person sitting behind the Niyat? Then, my friend, respectfully, humbly, please forgive me, you need to rethink of your Niyat. Because your Niyat is between you and Imam Zaman. Remember that. Why are you dissatisfied? Are you saying you are dissatisfied with the Imam Zaman? Then I don't know what to say to that question. If you are dissatisfied with the Imam Zaman, I don't know what to say. But our expectation is not from any person sitting at the part, but our communication and our niyat, communication is with the Imam Zaman, and he is listening to you, he is watching you, he is reading you, and he is accepting your neck niyat. I hope you are understanding what Nachis and Garib is saying. Ji.
Ji, sir. Sir, we'll take one hand raise. Anar, please unmute. Anar, you have a hand raise. Do you have any question?
Maybe she's not able to unmute.
Um,
No problem. Let's go to the next.
uh, let's see. Anar, can you unmute? I send you the unmute request.
Yes, now I can. Sorry.
Okay.
Uh, Yani Madad, sir.
Yani Madad.
My question is that is there a special significance to the fruit, doodh, and darbari memani on the front part?
Whatever is the niyat of the offering family. Offering family can bring, fruit, fresh fruit, dry fruit, milk, or any other kind of sharbat. Whatever the niyat of the family is. Definitely, we have made a generic common offering, but remember that is not our tradition. Our tradition is whatever your niyat is, Imam will accept. Remember, the tradition started of the Khada Khoraki from the family offering the Imam as Zaman when Imam would go to their home. Sometimes they will only offer bread and sugar on top of it, bread and ghee on top of it, khichdi, or fresh fruit, apple, banana, etc., or dry fruit, pista, badam. whatever your niyat is, Imam accept. I understand we have modified that tradition into a particular thing like fruit, milk, etc. But no, there is no limit what you can bring. As long as it is not in a distaste, it is in a good taste, you can bring. G.
Ji, sir, thank you. Sir, a friend has put, it looks like a statement, comment, or a question, and it's before the Nandi requirement was what you cook at home for yourself, you should bring as a Nandi. Is it still the same?
I don't understand the question. What do you mean requirement? Then what does
Exactly.
not sound right? So please rephrase your question. The
Please, Dinesh, we
requirement is
can.
not a correct word. G.
Aziz bhai,
G.
yeah, what I meant was that before it used to happen that whatever you cook at home, you bring it to to the Khane, Jamaat Khane as a Nandi because for the love of Imam. Now it's not happening. I basically believe. So still it's the same thing as that because I remember Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah once asked the Jamaat, did you prepare the food at home? You brought it here? He asked to the ladies who had cooked that food. And ladies said, yes, we cooked this food at home and we have brought this. And Mullah said, gave them khana wadan. And then he said that, make sure that whoever buys the nandi, you do not distribute to this nandi when you take home to the outsiders, but you people eat at home. This is, I'm just bringing that. Is it the same thing now? We cook at home for the love what we eat and then bring to Khane? Or now something has changed that you can, people now, nowadays people don't have time. They, buy from somewhere or they make other people cook for them and they bring to Khane as a nandi.
Traditions are meant to be changed. Remember that part. If you remember this one part, it will answer all of your question about Nandi. Traditions are meant to be changed. Remember that part. That answers all your question. Second, Nandi was never requirement but an offering of the love of the Imam of the time. Third, Mola Bapa in the time of Sultan Muhammad Shah wanted to bless the Jamaat as our Jamaat was so poor. At one time, Imam said, if you cannot give me the son, make sure whatever you cook at home, bring me 1/4 of that bread, and I will accept that as the son, and I will give you abundant mercy, blessings, khana vadan in your rosy. Nandi was never required, ever. It always has been blessing. Nandi is not limited to what you cook at home because what about milk? Think about that. What about fruit? Think about that. You see that? We cannot say Nandi is always cooked at home because that is not possible. I cannot make apple in my home. I do not have a cow in my home to have milk. If I wanted to make sherbet, I would have to buy essence from the market. You see that? We need to open our heart and our mind because when we are limiting our thoughts, number two, logic, Number 3, intellect. Then we will stop ourselves from doing great things, because greatness comes from logic and intellect, and our tariqa is of the tariqa of logic and intellect. That's where the greatness comes from. When we are limiting ourselves to a time or to a statement, and one does not fit all. One does not fit all. As an individual, as a unique as we are, we can offer whatever our niyat is. Imam will accept that. Ji.
Ji sir, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. It was a great lesson today for all of us, that how much the niyat is important and in all that we do in our rites and
Alhamdulillah.
rituals. Yeah, shukr alhamdulillah. Friends, if you have any questions, you can either raise your hand or you can unmute your device or put it in the chat box. Looks like, sir, we don't have any questions in the chat box. Any friends would like to say something? You can unmute your device. All the mics are open.
Looks like Nurjan is trying to say something, or at least her mic is unmute.
All the mics are unmute for them to. Do you have the translation of Aval Sufro? Translation of Aval Sufro.
Awal Sufro, the first Memani, first offering. Ji.
Okay, sir. It looks like we don't see any questions in the chat box. And friends can unmute your device if you have any comments or if you want to share something or talk to sir.
याली मदद
Ya Ali Madad.
सर आज तो एक इतना ही बोलना है कि ये जो था ना अव्वल सुफरा और खरा खुराकी इसका बहुत सही सीखने मिला सर इंशाल्लाह। और जो आप बोले ना कि जो अव्वल सुफरा खटाते उसके लिए तो दुआ मांगनी चाहिए कि वो लोग इतना बड़ा काम करते, तो ये कभी इस तरीके से नहीं सोचे। तो कभी फील भी होता था कि अपन नहीं कर सकते हैं या अपने पास एक वो नहीं है इतना कैपेसिटी, लेकिन आज जिस तरीके से आप समझाए ना सर, इससे ऐसा लगा कि हम सब इन्वॉल्व होते हैं जब वो एक बंदा ये इतने बड़ा काम करते हैं, तो हम भी उसके साथ शामिल है। तो ये बहुत अच्छा लगा सर। और शुक्र मौला कि अब अव्वल सुफरा खटाया जाएगा ना तो वो जो फीलिंग रहेंगी वो बहुत डिफरेंट रहेंगी। शुक्र मौला सर, थैंक
तो
यू।
इससे हमको क्या सीखने मिला गुलजार बहन? इल्म, 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 फिर प्रैक्टिस, प्रैक्टिस, प्रैक्टिस एंड प्रैक्टिस।
हाँ सर,
इल्म के बगैर
शुक्र
जब हम प्रैक्टिस करते हैं तो कभी कभार अच्छाई करने जाते हैं, उसमें बुराई हो जाती है। जी, इतना जरूरी है इल्म।
शुक्र अल्लाह, थैंक यू सो
शुक्र
मच
मौला,
सर,
शुक्र
थैंक
मौला।
यू।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू फॉर अ गुड कमेंट। जी।
Sir, I think the
Yalima,
same. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry about that. Yalima, that's sir, it's Shalina.
या मतलब जी
I
शलीना।
just want to understand from your perspective, what is the right thing for Muki Kamriyas to give dua when we go for dua Karavi? Because Muki Kamriyas all have very different duas that they give, right? I just want to understand from your perspective, what do you think is the right thing to do or right dua to say?
वन सिंगल दुआ।
Mm-hmm.
मौला तुम्हारी नेक नियत पूरी करे। In that
Amen.
one single dua encompasses all the dua.
Everything.
Then
Thank you.
whatever additionally they wanted to say,
Mm-hmm.
no problem.
Okay,
Mukhi
thank you.
is the Amr in the Jamaat Khana. not me nor anyone else can put opinion on the Mukhi. Mukhi can do whatever he wish. He is the Amar in the Jamaat Khana. But this one dua, if he gives you this one dua, that encompasses all of your dua, every single one of them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Shukr alhamdulillah.
Sir, the same friend who was asking for the translation of Aval Sufro is asking what we recite in Jamaat Khana. So do you have the translation of Aval Sufro, what we recite in Jamaat Khana?
I have no idea. I don't understand. क्या मतलब है फेरियल समझाए मुझे?
I think, sir, you know, when whoever stands up to do the Aval Sufro, they always say that Aval Sufro Maulana Hazri Mamni Aval Memani Karwana Sawab. That's what exactly what you explained. That's the
Oh,
translation of Aval Sufro.
yeah, I
So
think that would be a good question for Google to see how to translate all of that. G,
yes, sir.
G.
Okay, friends, do you have any questions or comments? Sir, I don't see any questions in the chat box.
We can stop here.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for explaining us very
Shukran
detail
Mullah.
about. I think, sir, there is one hand raised. Can we take it, sir?
Sure, go ahead.
Ali, Danish, please go ahead and you can unmute yourself.
याली मदद
Ya Ali Madad.
सर दो क्वेश्चन था एक तो मेहमानी का मैंने यूरोप से आई मूव हियर इन यूरोप इफ समवन डू मेहमानी he'd never come in front Mukhi sahab give the dua everything and after in the end he come and give the money and everything
Mhm.
but why it's a different in other Jamaat Khana in US and Pakistan like that and second in
Ji.
Nandi when some people give the sona gold Nandi and same people who bring the gold Nandi and he take again back home. But why it's
Mhm.
like that?
Okay.
Can you explain?
So
Thank you, sir.
if you, G, if you give me permission, I would like to correct your questions, both of them. When you use the word why, that is not a good way to ask question. Because when you say why, there's a challenging, right? So how about we modify this question with your permission, of course. You know, what does it mean in different Jamaat Khana that we see that some places when Awal Sufro or the Memani is offered, then the person would go to the part, or other Jamaat Khanas, Mukhi Sahib just gives the dua. Tradition can be changed. One single statement covers your question. Tradition is according to the culture, time, place, and the Mukhi Sahib in a Jamaat Khana, in the same Jamaat Khana, Mukhi Sahib can do A and the next Mukhi Sahib will do B and the Mukhi Sahib after them will come do C and would not make any difference because it's a tradition and tradition meant to be changed according to the time, place, person sitting at the Jamaat Khana. So it doesn't matter how they do it. Let me give you a better example. If you have never been to Pakistan, India, in Europe, in America, you know how we stand up in the middle of two dua for tasbih? Did you know in India, Pakistan, we get up after both dua? We get up after both duas. We don't get up in the middle of the two duas. Second, you know how we have Niyaz Uttapanji in the middle of the first dua on Friday? Not in Pakistan, India. They do it 10 minutes before dua starts. You see, those can be changed and would not make any difference. Any different. It doesn't even matter when you do it or how you do it. It is only the intent, the niyat, which counts, not how you do it. It does not count. Your second question, again, I'm going to take the why away from it because why is argumental. How do we understand somebody brings whatever memani? I'm going to even take the part gold out of it. Whatever Nandi or memani to the Jamaat Khana, and they themselves at the end takes that back to the Jamaat Khana, from the Jamaat Khana. This person has the two roles to play. First role was to offer a memani to the Imam Zaman. Then he has a second role. If he wish, he can take the Nandi back home, regardless of whatever that is. Doesn't matter if it's a food, is a milk, is some other offering, gold or whatever. Because he also should have an opportunity, a chance to ask for that Nandi along with others, because there were other people standing there, right? They could take it or he can take it. Because at that time, he is just like any other person in Jamaat Khana. It's not necessary that it was him who brought it and he is taking it home. He is just like any other person in Jamaat Khana who has a chance and opportunity to ask for their Nandi. In return, he pays whatever the offering was and take that thing back. And there is nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly normal, actually. Perfectly normal. And there can be any reason behind that action. Why would you bring something and then take it back home? If that is your question, there can be many reasons behind that. Maybe he is offering something which was near and dear to him, but he's asking Mola Bapa, please accept my niyat. I'm giving you something which is near and dear to me. And he brings that Nandi. Then he takes the Nandi back home by saying, Ya Mola Bapa, I'm going to take it back home. I'm going to keep this offering as it is near and dear to you. And I'm going to look after that for you. You see that? How great that is. Look at the positive in this. I love this. I love the positive niyat, the feeling in this action. That something that was so near and dear to this person, and he still brought that to the Jamaat Khana. And there was a chance somebody else will take it. But then he offered, and then he took that home by another niyat. Ya Mullah, I'm going to keep this like it is near and dear to you now. Look at this. I love this action and this niyat, this love that this person or those people offer to the Imam Zaman. I love it. You see, your learning, my brother, is how do we see a thing from two different views. We are using two different cameras. We are using two different glasses to see the same thing. You were looking from this side. I hope now you are looking from my side. G. Thank you so much. Great question. Thank you for asking. G.
So very beautiful. Subhanallah, Subhanallah. That was a very good
Shukran.
side of saying that there is always two sides of a coin. So one
Shukran.
zahir, one batin. So
Shukran, Mawla.
shukran, alhamdulillah. Okay, sir, I
Thank
think,
you.
okay, go.
G. Should we stop here now?
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. And friends, thank
Thank
you for
you.
joining.
Thank you, Yali Madad.
Thank you, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad,
Yali
sir.
Thank
Thank
Madad.
you,
you.
Yali
Yali Madad,
Mother.
everyone.
Yali Madad,
Thank you,
friends.
Yali Mother.
Yali Madad, everyone. Yali Madad. Thank you so much.
Sir.
Yali Madad.